Hello there, in this video we are going to talk about while loops. In the last one we have already talked about the input function, so now let's talk about while loops. The idea of a while loop is actually very straightforward. There are only two kinds of loop. The first one was for, and in for loop you have a lot of freedom. It iterates through a collection. It repeats the same code for a collection of items, and we learned how we can use it on a list and on a dictionary. Now, a while loop is actually much simpler than a for loop, so let's talk about while now. So the idea of while loop is that while loop runs until a condition is true, or I should say as long as the condition is true, as long as as long as a condition is true. Now, what does it mean? Well, I would like to make a connection with an if statement. Let me show you. Let's say you have a num. Let's say you have a num, you set it to 2. Now you can do if, and you can put your condition num is less than or equal to 10, and let's put a colon, and then you put your code, some code. Now if only runs once. If the condition is true, it will run once. Now let's look at the example of while. You just need to remove if with a while num is less than or equal to 10, and you run some code. Now while will repeat this part over and over until the condition is false. So let me show you what would happen. So let's create Python. Let's create a file, touch while loops.py, and let me open the file. Now let's create our while loop. Let's say num is equal to 2. While num is less than or equal to 10, we can print our number. Now, as I said, our condition is always true. Num is always less than or equal to 10, and our loop is going to repeat the code. So let's see what would happen. We are going to see 2 over and over because num is always less than 10, as I said. Now to close your program, we can do Control C. That will close our program. This is what we actually call an infinite loop. So the loop never ends. In order for the loop to end, we need something called an ending some code that will end our condition. So after printing our number, we can add 1 to our number. Let's say num equal to num plus 1. So after every iteration, we are increasing 1 to our number. That way it will reach 10, and by the end of the code, our num will become 11. 11 is less than or equal to 10, which is obviously false. So our loop will end. I can do here final num value is num, and let's run the code and see python while loops.py. Now our number begins at 2 and we keep incrementing. Now when it becomes 11, our condition fails and we get here. That's the most basic idea of while loop. It doesn't require a list or a dictionary, it just needs a condition, and it will run as long as the condition is true. And inside the while loop, you will need to make sure how we are going to end our while loop. Sometimes we will need infinite loops, and we will talk about them later. But when you want to end your loop, you will need to think about it. So let's look at another example. Let's look at the input example. Let me comment out this code and move on to the second part. So we have this example of taking multiple inputs. So we are giving a prompt, tell me something and I will repeat it back to you. Tell me something and I will repeat it back to you. Press enter quit to end the program. Now I can do while. So first I need to actually create a message, a string, message equal to an empty string. While message is not equal to quit, I can take the message with an input and I can put my prompt. Now if message, so I guess this is it, print message. Now I can do python while loops.py, tell me something, I will repeat it back to you, enter quit to end the program. So I can do ABC. So my name is June. If I do quit, it repeats quit, but message becomes quit, and here the condition fails. Now if you don't want to see the quit, the book has an example. So before printing message, we can check it one more time. If message is not equal to quit, only then print. Now we can run our code again. So if I do quit, we don't see anything. And now here we have another example. So before I move on, I want to make the prompt a little smaller. This looks too big to me. So I think this is enough. Now let's look at the idea of flag. Now a flag is a variable that either holds true or false. So instead of message not equal to quit, I can do active is equal to true, and while active I'm going to take the input. If message is not equal to quit, I'm going to print my message. Otherwise I can set active to false. Now the book has written it slightly differently, but this will work as well. So let's run the code and see. Python while loops.py, tell me something and I will repeat it back to you. ABC quit. Now we quit. So this is what we call a flag. So it acts as a signal to the program. We are setting it true or we are setting it false, and then using the flag as a condition to check if you want to run the loop or not. So I guess this is it for this video. In the next one, we are going to talk about break and continue. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.